Greeting everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about some of the different filaments I've tried, some of the tricks and stuff I do with them to help with bed adhesion and stuff like that. Uh, I haven't tried that many myself, honestly. I've tried PLA, of course. I have done Silk PLA, PEGT, and PLA Plus. And each one prints a little bit differently. One of the things I do recommend is a filament dryer. It helps a lot. So here's one of my examples of PLA Plus. I did this lovely Pink Floyd. Gotta love some Floyd. It came out beautiful. I used the real light infill, so it's real lightweight and stuff like that. It has a nice contours, a little bit of lines in it and stuff like that. I'm still working on the finer settings. But this was done in Sunlube white PLA. I find it isn't easy to print with. I print anywhere usually between 190 and 200 for the temp, and well, I print about normal speeds on my printer with a 60-degree bed. Getting it to stick is really easy once you have your bed set up just right. Just make sure it's clean. Use some isopropyl alcohol and some paper towels, clean it off, and on both the longer and the Ender's glass bed, I have no issues with sticking with it. And now I have a PEI bed on my Ender 3, and it sticks to it perfectly fine. Another one I use is some Silk PLA. Here's some copper. And here's the piece I've done in it. Little base. This is done in a different color. It prints pretty much similar. I've had some issues with this copper clogging up my nozzle. But the silver and gold I got with it, they print perfectly fine. I don't go out and buy expensive filaments. I look to see what's on sale or at a discount price, especially when you buy in bulk. One of my most used filaments is PLA Plus, because there's a lot of companies out there who sell this stuff. When you buy in bulk, you get it really cheap. I've seen anywhere down from, you buy 10 or more rolls, it goes from $9.99 to $13.99 a kilogram roll. So I tend to go with that because it's cheap. It works and it prints great. Here's one of the bases I did. There's a little bit of zitting and stuff on it because this filament was not dried out fully when I printed this base. But I have quite a few other things I've done in this. Like my lightsaber. You know, we all have to have one. And it prints, I print this at a little bit higher than PLA. I go about 210 to 220 when I print this. I keep the bed same, all the other settings the same. And it's a good go-to for me, because I can print and print and print for less. A lot of people I hear had difficulties with my next filament, PEGT. I have never had issues with PEGT sticking to the bed. The only issue I've had with it was on the glass bed from my Ender 3, it not wanting to unstick. That's why I went and got the PI bed. It prints perfectly, sticks to it fine, and stuff like this. I run mine about 240 degrees, and I do about 70-degree heat bed on it. Print the same speeds. Most of my profile settings are pretty much standard with Cura. Here's one of the PGT things I've made out of here. Sounds like he's hungry for more filament. My newest filament I'm trying right now is actually some wood PLA. I listen to some of the advice and stuff like that on the videos and stuff like that. See people, what they do to print it. A lot of people say, put up to a 0.5 millimeter nozzle. I tried that. It does work. But the only thing I've noticed you have to do is you have to turn the flow up on your printer just a little. I turned it from the regular standard flow to 110%. Here's one of my pieces now. The only difficulty I have noticed with this, I have not tried it on my longer yet. I've tried it on my ender. It does not like to stick for long to the PEI bed. So what I do for stuff like that is I print a raft underneath of it. And then once the raft's done, completed, I do a little thing like that where I tape the raft to the bed so it cannot come loose halfway through the print. This way it stays in place and it stays firm. I have quite a few little owls I started trying to do when I first got the filament. Well, they all came loose, close to the same point on the bed. So I put a raft under it and I taped it down. And it's holding perfectly fine. Stuff comes out, and with adjusting the extrusion up a little, it gives a more rough look to it. So it looks like it's actually carved out of wood. It feels like wood and stuff like this. This I print at the high recommended temperature that the filament has. It said 190, so I print at 190. I'm printing at regular speed. When it comes to like PLA Plus and regular PLA, if you know your printer, know what speeds it can handle. Like T-Rex tail I'm printing here. I'm actually running it at 150% of standard speed. So that's probably about 75 millimeters per second. And it comes out good. On the ender, working with the PLA and PLA Plus, same thing. I've even done Silk PLA and PET that way. But you have to know your printer. Get used to it. Try some things out. Another thing I had a hard time with at first was when printing rafts. A lot of times I could not get the raft off. I would have to sit there and cut around it and stuff like that. So you go into your splicer settings and you adjust the air gap on the raft. The way I did mine was I would raise it up one little point at a time and print a little small piece. Like I use the good old fashioned calibration cubes for my tests because they're quick, use very low filament, and you can test it and just print another one out. And it works. Once I got my right setting right, each printer is different. My longer, I had to adjust the air gap to get it to come loose. My ender, I did not. When it comes to like printing stuff like helmets and stuff like this, like my Mandalorian helmet, yes, I still finishing it and I have to sand it and stuff still. The way I did mine is, instead of printing it this way, where it has to put all those supports inside and stuff like that, even when you use tree supports, don't use as much. it still takes a lot of time and filaments. The way I print it is upside down. So it only has to support the bottom and the openings it needs to going up. And it takes a lot less filament being used and a lot less time. And then you still got the marks from your supports and stuff like that you have to sand off. You do a little Bondo after it's smoothed down, and then you paint it. But it's a learning experience. Would I rather print this out and use 2 to 3 rolls of filament? Then, and it take forever? Or would I rather make it a roll of filament and a little bit of work to finish it? Well, I'd like to thank you all for coming to view. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and share. I also have a donation button on my channel page. If you'd like to donate to help support the cause, I will be doing product reviews, talk about different things I've learned, and stuff like that. Any questions, just feel free to comment and ask. And have a great day, everyone.